you. We are, that was the first time I realized we were a dynamic duo, so we have like superhero qualities.
A little bit.
Feel free to, touch us on your way out. But before I go any further, it is prostitution, not anything else. So just wanted to get that out of the way. It's a marketing ploy, those of you that are into marketing. So
we get lots of good looks with that T-shirt.
Makes people look twice or three times, and sometimes they yell and scream at us and tell us we're awful people, and then we just turn around and go, CuppieCakes. So it's just frosting. And
yes.
So the first slide we have here
is me.
Is Susie. We're going to introduce ourselves just a tiny bit.
I'm Susie. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Don't talk
so loud. I'm going to whisper. Oh, it's still really loud. Okay.
Move away from there.
There we go. That's better. Okay. I went to the University of Southern Mississippi. It's still really loud. Turn me down. I'm freaking myself out.
Whisper.
Okay. So I'm originally from Houston, and I went to Southern Mississippi on a volleyball scholarship. I majored in kinesiology. I'm a PE gym rat, always have been, always will be. Yeah, there you go.
Good
job.
Yeah.
I was a head volleyball coach in Temple for 10 years. My husband and I moved here in 2001. He's from Lorena, so if you knew you Waco people. He's from here. So I've kind of moved on from the full-time teacher role. So last year I took a job at Woodgate Intermediate, and I teach 5th grade PE in the morning only. So from 8 to 11:30 I get to play things like dodgeball and kickball, and then I go...
Can I just interject something here? People think she's got it so bad because she has this other job that she has to go to, but I'm there all the time at the shop.
She's got the wrong
So I work all day too.
She does.
So anyway, don't have too much sympathy.
So I play in the morning and then go make cupcakes in the afternoon. So it's really pretty much the perfect job, because my favorite subjects in school were PE,
recess,
and lunch. So there we go. We're still in the hole. We do that.
Yeah.
And I'm married to another educator. He was actually a coach when we met, and he teaches special ed English in McGregor now. And I have 3 kids. I have a freshman at Sam Houston State, and then I have a sophomore, Kara, and a 7th grader named Lindy. And Drew is my college freshman. So that's me in a nutshell.
And then there's me. I'm Branda. And what did I put up there? Oh, I went to Texas Tech and got my degree in education. And then I taught English for 15 years in a couple of different places. My dream was always, I thought, or at the time, my dream was to always be a high school counselor. And so as life afforded that opportunity, I went back to school, got my master's in education from Tarleton in counseling. And so I was a high school counselor for an additional 9 years after I taught English. And I am married to a fellow named Jake, and he's an engineer. So we're completely opposite, but God love him. He's held it together when we were cranking out CuppieCakes at the wee hours of the morning. So we also have 3 kids. I have a junior at Texas Tech, I have a freshman at Sam Houston, and I have a sophomore in high school. And God love them too, because our kids and husbands have, oh my goodness.
Yes.
They missed us, but it was good. So if you notice, it says nothing there about business. As Kathy mentioned, we have zero background.
None.
Not even a little bit. Like, we had no background in business.
We like to bake. Well, I didn't even like to bake for a long time, but
I fed my family.
I did it for my friends.
It was okay to feed our
and my kids.
Yeah.
And then people started asking us to make stuff, or me to make stuff for my other friends. I said, okay.
Yeah. We met at church about 9 years ago, and so she's a cool gal, and I was like, hey, let's hang out. And she's like, I'm making a cake. So our motto for business is just don't get arrested.
It's so true.
Literally what we said to each other when we...
If we don't get arrested, we're good.
I can tell you guys some stories of stupid stuff we did. We filed for a tax ID number on your couch.
Yep.
Way before there was ever a business. And
Just for
thinking,
fun.
wow, we got a tax ID number now, federal ID. But then we started getting mail, and it says you need to report all these things.
We didn't know
what it meant.
No.
Not a
It was
a
bad.
suggestion for you. So we just decided right then and there we just don't want to get arrested. So
It's a pretty good motto for general
Yep.
life purposes,
Yep.
by the way.
and then our biggest tip for success, whatever you want to define success as.
Is to find good people who know what they're doing. And so that's
Yep.
what we've kind of done is used other people's resources, not necessarily our own, but we have a lot of good friends that like to eat cupcakes. And when they like to eat cupcakes,
Yep.
and we know they know something, we're like, hey, by the way. And so we've gotten so many tips from other people. And
Yeah.
I know y'all think this is nuts, but it's the truth. So we have found so many good people that just like us as people, and they do like cupcakes, which does help. But they have so much knowledge that we do not. And that's pretty much how we've survived
Right.
6 years down
Yeah.
the road. So
And some of the smartest people I've ever known in my life didn't know everything, but they knew people who did in whatever field it was that they may be short in knowledge. And so ultimately it makes them look like they came up with this brilliant answer when really it may have been someone down the road. But there's really nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. If you know that you're not good at something, find someone who is. And we've had to pay a few people too. Our CPA, he sends us a bill,
Yep.
but we gladly pay it because,
Yeah.
I don't even know what to do with that stuff.
nope.
So we kind of hand over a pile of receipts and our QuickBooks login and make it work, and he does. So that would be our biggest tip. So a little bit about how we started. Yeah, so
My husband
This
my husband used to help me, and like I said, he was a football coach. So
he has man hands.
he does have
and
man hands, and he's not the most
He's not real
meticulous
graceful.
human, and he's really loud too.
So we made that.
So we made a cake together for our preacher, because like we met at church, right, 9 years ago, and she was having a baby, so we made this cake together. This was the very first CuppieCakes.
Now please look closely, because that's not the end of the story. So
No.
eventually you're going to laugh at this picture if you're not right now. So just note.
that was round one, and we had a really good time. So I was like,
We
she's
did.
pretty nice, so we can hang out some more. So then
Yep.
I invited her over for the next cake, and so then it all just, I think my husband.
And
really
then
just
we were like, you know what? Cupcakes are way easier than cakes because they're really time consuming. So let's make
oh, this is really
cupcakes.
good.
Yeah.
They're really ugly. They're awful, actually. They're really. I found these pictures about 2 weeks ago.
Those are like the skeletons in my CuppieCake closet.
Mhm.
I
We're
share
really
them
bad.
with you in a small audience. She wanted to post them online. I was
I
like, you're
did.
crazy. What do you do? Like, you wouldn't share that with everybody.
I would. I totally.
I
share
would
that.
not. That's so embarrassing. They
I would-
tasted good though, and that's where we had people. We figured if we can get it in your mouth, just close your eyes and eat it, we'll be all right. And so it worked.
Yeah, it
But
did
those were,
Well, we also fed them to church people, and
Ooh,
church people,
yeah.
they generally don't, they make you feel really good all the time. So we
they
really
are.
took them to the church people, and they ate them first, and they're
Right.
like, "These are so
they're so
beautiful."
good. Oh, they're so pretty. Look at those toppings.
Yeah.
And is that Italian cream?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
They were so happy, especially when it's free, But for whatever reason, we took it and ran. We were like, oh, we got some good stuff, We're going to make this. And I don't know how it happened, honest to God. I don't know how it happened, because that is
Really ugly, but they tasted good.
So, our dream. We started talking about, hey, we're good, we're selling stuff, and people actually paid money for some of those. And we started selling more and more, and oh my goodness, the hours that we spent, I spent at her house with her family, and I love her family.
She's like their second mother now. at
They're
this
not
point.
my family, and I missed my family, and her husband got real tired of, us being in the kitchen all the time, And so we decided, so many hours in a day. We're both working full time.
We were staying up till 2 or 3 in the morning every night of the week for the most part. It was really, it was pretty terrible.
So
using one oven, tiny little oven in my house, which is still working, by the way, somehow.
Yep. But, so we decided it's fish or cut bait. We either have to go big or literally go home. And so we started looking around Waco, thinking we're just going to open up this grand cupcake shop. And I don't know if y'all have done research on commercial kitchens and what they cost. It is not cheap.
No.
At all.
I think we got a couple estimates, and it was going to be around $20,000 just to put in a kitchen. And with 3 kids, and our kids weren't too far away from college. We were just like, I don't really want to go into debt because I don't want it to change. We didn't want it to change our whole life, we wanted to do it, and it was going to be fun. Oh, fun, roses and daisies. But we didn't want to really go into debt because neither one of us were in debt. So we got that little estimate, and we were just like, oh.
But then, I talked her into it because I will tell you right now, I'm the gas, she's the brakes.
True story.
Like, I am like, let's do it! We can do it! We'll figure out a way to pay for it.
And I usually look at her like this.
She's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And so
it happens every single day. I'm not joking. She comes up with something else.
True.
I'm like, would you
stop?
It
really does. But I appreciate the breaks because I would be in jail. Like, literally, I would be in jail. So it's best that we have this partnership. And
that goes in personal life too.
So we looked at this place, and it's like, for $50,000 we can open this place. And she's like, are you crazy? $50,000? Where are we going to get that? And I said, well, if we half it, it's like we just bought a new car piece. It's okay. We can make that payment if we go under. Well, then the brakes hit, and she said, fine. So we make this payment on this loan. We also have to make our rent payment for this place and buy supplies and this and that. Well, y'all can do the math. Cupcakes are, in the whole scheme of sales, pretty cheap. And so then it was like, oh man, we got to sell a lot of cupcakes, a lot of cupcakes. And so we found a cheap spot.
We did on Hughlett Drive. It's still open, by the way. No one
ever
moved in there.
It has not.
But it's over there by Uncle Dan's Barbecue. Anybody familiar with Hughlett Drive? Uncle Dan's Barbecue. And there's actually a bakery right there now, right next to Uncle Dan's. Well, we had the other end.
We're gonna have the other end. We didn't quite get
And we
there.
had our lease in our hand, and apparently the leasing agent at the deal thought we were all the same group, and she gave our lease.
It was the bakery before the one that's there now. But,
she gave our lease to that person, and you can't have 2 bakeries in one spot. So we literally passed the people coming out, and the lady at the desk said, I just gave the lease to somebody else.
What?
And so that fell through. Yeah.
And I fell apart.
Oh, yeah. It was a big blow. Because that was our dream, was, the $20,000 kitchen in that building. And so that
tears.
fell through.
I literally cried.
Yeah.
She was driving, and it was difficult, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I stopped. It was like, well, we still bake cupcakes and cakes. We still have our families. We haven't lost anything. We lost nothing.
Right.
So strap it up. Let's go, So we kind of put it on hold because the reality of everything kind of set in that maybe this isn't the direction that God was leading us. And so I think this was the first point for me where patience and God's timing was just completely in my face, just staring at me. And so deep breath, you step back and say, okay, I'll wait.
Right.
And maybe the answer is no. Maybe we're not going to do this. Maybe this isn't what we're supposed to do. So,
are you getting all teary-eyed?
I'm not.
I can see.
Maybe.
Okay. She's attached to cupcakes. It's good. So our friend was driving, another friend named Susie. We have the triplets, me and Susie, and another Susie. She was driving through McGregor, and she said, hey, y'all got to come look at this building. And we thought, oh, please, who's going to drive to McGregor for cupcake? Really? It's
Like we had to
15
sell a lot
minutes.
of cupcakes,
We did.
you know, to pay the rent.
And so she said, y'all need to come look at this building. It's beautiful. There's tables and chairs in there. We said, okay, whatever. We'll go look at it. And we looked in the window.
Do y'all
and
know
like, wow.
the number 1, 2, and 3 on starting a business, the rules?
Location, location,
Location,
location.
location.
This was not the location. And we thought, oh, come on, really? So we go look at it, and it looks beautiful. It's an old...
Like we looked through the window, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure that you didn't pee a little.
Probably.
So
Probably a little bit.
it was amazing. If you haven't been out there, I really encourage you to, because you don't understand really what we're talking about until you see this place.
It's an old building built in the early 1900s, and apparently it was a saloon at one point, but they totally gutted the whole thing. It's
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And so when we get down to the nitty-gritty, the owner of the building said, well, it used to be a deli, and his son-in-law had run a deli out of it, and he just happened to close the door. It had been empty for 2 years, and he said, you guys, you know, when you sign the lease, you guys can use anything you want in the building, which means
Everything.
tables, chairs,
Everything.
anything.
We bought an oven.
We bought an oven with cash that we had from my house, paid cash for an oven, and that's pretty much it. And it's a normal old kitchen. It's a double oven that we got at Home Depot because
It's
we
electric,
don't
it's
like the
not
commercial
gas.
kind,
Yeah.
because that's just more stuff we have to learn. So
Yep.
it's a plain old oven that we paid cash for, and then we started making cupcakes, and then here we are 3 years later.
Yep.
With literally no debt until that gets later, but we now have debt, but it's a whole nother.
It's a different debt.
It's a gas situation that I didn't apply the brakes fast enough apparently. So she won that one. Yeah, we haven't crashed yet.
So God's timing was perfect. Couldn't have really, literally, could not have orchestrated it myself, or
Nope.
yourself for sure.
Never.
But
That was rude. I got it. I got it.
why?
Takes me a second.
You know, a lot of people ask us all the time. You know how we work. Even our husbands, mine more than hers, because he's the engineer mind. You know, I told you about. We don't have an agreement written by the lawyers between us. I don't necessarily recommend that.
No.
But we started years ago from the very get-go of knowing each other and trusting each other extremely, just beyond. And one of the big things for me is work ethic. And I tease her about being at school in the morning, and I'm there cranking it out, and I get nothing for it. But I tell you what, this lady will outwork me.
I don't know about that.
Well, she gets close to working as hard as I do.
No, we both put in a whole lot of hours.
We put in as much as the other, and with total respect of, you know, time away, and so that's been our biggest key, is just trusting one another. And you know, it says trusting each other even when we don't believe. You know, I can tell you there are times when I've said, Suze, we've got to do this, or we need to buy that, or this isn't working, we need to take it off the shelf, and vice versa, honestly. And sometimes when one is so convicted about something, it's important that we trust in, you know, each other's opinions and value them and believe what they're saying, you know, with all that. So let's see. Oh, I got 2 clicks that time.
You did. Oh, yeah, that's about right.
Yep. We're all the time. And when we're not on the same page, we actually make time, build time into a day.
Even if it's 5 minutes or so.
To literally sit down on the couch in the shop and say, this is what's going on. You know, I was frustrated with you for
Nothing.
whatever.
She
nothing.
was frustrated
Ever.
for nothing.
She might say something to me like, I'm frustrated with you because you were talking too much to the customers, and I'm sitting here sweating it out behind the counter, and I needed help. You know, if something that simple to, you know, occasionally there's slams the brakes on, and I get frustrated, but you know, there's this total communication, and I think that's probably really key, and total honesty.
That, and we do share a brain.
We do.
So, pretty much at this point.
So
we could be one person, really. We talk about if we could just walk like this.
Okay, I saw on Facebook about the conjoined people, the girls. And they
I haven't
had
seen this yet, but
the right one had her own nervous system and head and the right side of a body. And the other one
we were trying to see how that would work
had
yesterday.
the left side of the body.
I don't really know.
Like they're two complete people.
I told her I'd be the left-hander because she's no good with left hand. But
anyway, but there are plenty of things that we don't do well, and wow, this whole thing is sensitive.
We act like we're organized. We do have a calendar. We have our own little system. It's probably not the best. Like I said, we're not business school people. We just make it work. So we do have a calendar. It gets updated most of the time. We haven't missed any orders by more than one day, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, we got it all done. Don't worry. But we're not the most organized people. We're not great. We don't like the business stuff at all. The tax part, we actually do that ourselves. Like when we had to pay our sales tax, we don't like that part either.
Oh my gosh, that's like
we have to
stepping on glass.
We really do have to look that up every time we do it.
Hate it.
It's bad, but we get it done. What does that say? We actually set a goal this summer this school year to go home by 5:00, which our kids are so not used to us coming in when the sun's up. And so they're
of course
Mom!
It happens the year that I send two off out of the area to college.
They're like, Mom,
so my one little one's like, what you cooking? The other ones are like, I hate you.
We want to cook dinner more. What'd you say?
The two older ones are so mad because
I know, they are
the youngest one gets food, and they got a credit card. Go buy yourself something down the road.
For a long time, especially when we were both working full time when we first opened, and so we would come to school. We would come to the shop around 5:00 every day, and so we were baking ourselves and we were making all of our icing ourselves, and so we would literally leave. It wasn't any better than what we were doing at my house. Although my house was a little more comfortable.
But we had more business.
But we had way more business, and so we would go home at 2 or 3 o'clock.
In the morning.
And then we'd get up and go to work every single day. So we did, and my mother-in-law and some other sweet people from church that loved our cupcakes and would never tell us no. They actually ran the shop while
the one that said Italian cream.
That one, yeah.
She ran the shop.
Anyway, they ran the shop while we were at school full time, and then we did that every single day, and then even on Fridays and Saturdays. Oh man.
Yeah. The plus side was that we were growing. Our business was growing. We were making more money. We had a bank account that was growing to the point where we had the conversation once again of we have to do something different. This is not how life can be forever. And so it was once again, we are either going to go big or go home. Our lease was up. It was time to make a decision. And I was in the opportunity or in the position at work to kind of move out of what I was doing. It was just best. Let's put it that way. And so, it was. But we had a long conversation. Who's going to quit their job?
Oh my gosh! Who's crazy enough to quit their job?
Who's crazy enough to quit their job?
The gas.
Yes. And so I did, and we were able to do that because things were still crazy. But we figured if I was there full time instead of trying to come in after school every day, that I could do a lot more of that work during the day rather than just the ladies from church selling cupcakes. They weren't making them. They weren't putting the icing on them or anything. They were just hanging out selling cupcakes and coffee. So we took a leap. It was a huge leap. Because I had carried my whole family on my insurance through the school, and my husband's company didn't offer insurance. And oh my gosh, if you've ever had to try to maneuver the marketplace, God love you. It's the worst experience of my life. So just health insurance was a huge factor. And, of course, then the...
And one of our agreements was whenever we were...
This, you're going to think we're crazy.
You're probably still going to think we're crazy, but it just works for us. So we were always of the agreement, which whoever was the dumb one to quit their job,
right?
We would pay them whatever they made, whatever they brought home from their on their paycheck. And it wasn't going to be gross, but it would be net. And so that way, I don't know. And so I still had a paycheck. So literally, whenever she quit her job, because we didn't pay each other. We didn't pay ourselves for the first.
Ever.
Yeah, ever, really. We just kept it in our little account. And so.
The breaks.
Yes, the breaks, that's me.
The breaks kept
so
in that account.
We paid her what she brought home, and I still came after work and worked every day.
She worked for nothing.
I worked for nothing. And to me, it makes sense in my head. And to y'all, you're probably thinking, what is this crazy lady? But it's something that we loved. And I love Branda enough to make sure that, like, my biggest fear in life is failing. So her kids, I didn't want her kids to starve. Like, her kids have to eat. So I'm going to work just as hard as I did before.
And she
so
does.
her kids can eat. I love her kids. I do love her kids. And so that was our crazy arrangement. But it makes sense in our heads. And so
when she went part-time, then we pay me full-time and her part-time.
Part-time. Still.
The half that she lost from leaving school.
So.
And so our business is growing enough to be able to do that, and hopefully she's going to quit, and we're going to pay both of us full time.
We got real offended at her husband one time because he was so worried about her quitting her job and me still working but getting a paycheck. And
he's like, why would she go to work?
Why would she come to work?
Why would she work for nothing when you're making all the money?
And I got so mad. I thought, why wouldn't I do that? It's your kid, I love Jake too. I was like, those are your kids. So
it doesn't make sense to most
the
people.
General population.
And that's that's where we are different than
the general population.
Yeah. So. And I don't, like I said, I don't necessarily recommend that you that you go into partnership with somebody and just say, oh yeah, sure, you can have all the money. That's fine. Or we don't have any partnership written agreement of who gets what, where. We don't have any of that. And no, it's not typical, and no, it's probably not recommended, but we are very unorthodox in what we've done, and I guess what we continue to do. Yeah. So one more problem that we have is
Branda too.
We stretch ourselves thin a little bit too much sometimes, and we're trying to get that under control and go home at 5, and
So far, so good.
But we do some things well as well. This little clicker.
We do love what we do, as you can tell. She got real emotional talking about business. I don't even know what that was, but we do love what we do. It's like
you.
I know. I'm sorry. She doesn't really hate me. She just pretends. We do really love what we do, and it's like these cupcakes are our children. They're like little babies that have to be perfect. And then we love our customers. I mean, we love to talk to our customers and see where they're from. We're really thankful to be in McGregor, but we've gotten a whole lot of traffic because I don't know if y'all know about McGregor, but the bed and breakfast for Magnolia is right around the corner. So GPS takes people right past our business. And we were there before the Magnolia house was there. We just got really lucky. Yeah. Didn't even know that was going to happen. But we have met some of the most amazing people in McGregor. First of all, McGregor has wonderful people that have just swooped us up, and they made us their own, and they love us and we love them. We're on first name basis with people, and I think that's part of the draw.
It's not always so easy to move into a small town that's not your own.
Right, and we're neither one of us. She's from Eddy and I live in Hughlett, so we didn't know a soul in McGregor, but they really have adopted us for what we do and who we are. But we love people. We love to talk to people and find out who they're from, and you'd be amazed. I keep telling Branda, she's a high school counselor. She needs to open up the Charlie Brown counseling thing for 5 cents. We could be wealthy. I mean, we really could. I think you need to work on that.
I'll work on it.
Okay. So, because people will come in and start telling you all their stuff. You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't really need to know that, but God bless you. Oh my goodness. Okay. So when they come in, you're like, oh, you're Fred, and I know all things about you that I shouldn't know, but we do love people. We love to know about them and how their day was, and we know what they like to drink. We make coffee too. So if we already need coffee, we do that as well, but we know how they like their coffee, and I think that's part of the draw. It's like people, their names, their kids' names, what they like to eat, and so we really do like to get to know people. I think we've met
someone from every state in the nation
at this point,
and multiple countries outside of the United States that have come to McGregor to see a house and happened upon CuppieCakes, and it's like, golly, we get to meet some really cool people, really neat folks. But that's probably one of the best parts of what we do. Another thing that I think we have done well has been able to define what success means. And I feel pretty certain that it's a different definition for everyone in here. I don't think success for us is necessarily getting rich. For some, it may be.
I wish.
And I mean, I wouldn't mind, but
Man, that'd be good.
why don't you work on that?
Okay, I'll do that.
But we've been able to feel successful without, walking around with Rolexes and, tons of money in our pocket. I still have a loan for my kids' school, that type of deal. So, but I still feel really successful in what we've done, and especially when we can look back and see where we started with those pictures.
Yeah.
We are successful.
Definitely.
Definitely successful.
Definitely successful.
So this is probably the biggest thing that I feel like we do well.
Yeah, I see she'll start crying again here in a second. No, we really do. We
Why are you
she's
that
adorable.
way? I'm
She's
emotional.
It's fun to. I know she is emotional.
Yep.
We do pray a whole lot, and we have so many people praying for us. We would never when people ask about McGregor, we're like, we just got placed here, and that wasn't us. It was a gift, and that's why we treat what we do as a gift every day. It's the hardest job I've ever had. I love to play sports. I've, played sports my whole life and worked so hard, and I've never been so tired in my life as those nights that we were going home at 2:00. I've never felt the pain in my legs that I've felt from standing up all day long on concrete, icing a blasted cupcake for somebody. You know what I mean? So we pray for patience. We pray for good fortune. We guidance, all sorts of things. So,
yep.
And we do that. I mean, honestly, pretty much every minute. Like, please let today be a good. Let's have a good day today.
But we also
it's
have to believe that whatever good is, we have to understand that it may not be our definition of good, or it's back when the lease fell through thing. That's just a big moment of earnest, honest belief that God is going to take you through.
Right. And we also,
But I will say,
well, you didn't talk about the part with Jake.
Oh, God.
So she forgot this part. But whenever we signed our lease, we had just gotten our lease with McGregor, and literally had signed on the paperwork a week before. I think it was a couple days before. And Branda had gone. She's got some grandkids down from another
in the coast.
Yeah, on the coast. And so she had gone down there for Memorial Day weekend, and Jake had a massive heart attack. He had the Widowmaker in an emergency room and literally died, and they brought him back to life. I don't even know. He's Lazarus to me, but we signed the lease, and then Jake has this massive heart attack, and he's in ICU for a week. And we were thinking, in Corpus, right, away from Waco. So that was another trust.
Yeah.
We were both pretty devastated with that, and how do we overcome an ICU visit, really 10 or 8 days in ICU.
But I'll tell you, it was a blessing in and of itself, in that we were going to stop. I was going to stop working.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to quit that first
then.
year right then, and then the reality of he doesn't carry our insurance. I do. He's in the hospital, and school was starting in
3 months.
Just
2 months.
A month,
because it was
May. It was right at the end of the school year, and so I had this summer that I thought I was going to prepare to, quit working and start working full time at the shop, and it was the best thing for our business that could have happened. That sounds a little morbid, maybe, but it was a good thing for us not to just jump in with both feet. From the very beginning, trying to pay my salary. I don't know if we could stand here right now, because it's taken a while to build up the business and so forth. So business perspective, it was, you have to look for those silver linings. So where are we now?
No. Yeah. So we have.
Looky there.
There we go. Look how pretty those are compared to the other ones. They're so terrible.
That's better.
Anyway, so at the shop we have at least 24 flavors every day.
Plus we have a better photographer.
And we have a really good photographer. And so, what does that say?
We do custom cakes as well.
We do custom cakes, wedding cakes, birthday cakes, all sorts of cakes. And then we use Pinewood Roasters, and they're such good fellows. Their roaster was in McGregor, so that's how we got to know them. They actually walked down the alleyway and we met.
But that was one of the things that when we walked into McGregor and they said, whatever's here, use it if you want.
Oh, yeah.
An espresso machine, and we were like, I don't even know what to do with that. I don't even know really how to make that work. And
YouTube.
True story. So we
Everything
found
we
the
learned,
exact
we learned on
machine and how to run it.
We did.
And we didn't do it very well.
Nope, but we faked it, and it tasted pretty good.
And then the coffee boys came along, and they're like, well, if you do this, it might taste a little better.
So we got from some
okay.
tutorials.
Got some tutorials.
Yes, and then we also, our customers begged us to make a sandwich. We are not sandwich people, y'all, but so now we make 4 sandwiches every day.
And they love them.
And they love them. They have
whatever.
no vegetables. We don't do vegetables at a cupcake shop. That's said right at the beginning. But
There's no point, really.
Yep, we make pretty good non-vegetable sandwiches.
We do.
So
hummus, though. Hummus is on one of them.
Oh, yeah, that's
kind of a vegetable.
So vegetable-ish,
okay.
vegetable-esque. We do have, our place is available for space for parties, for baby showers and things
beautiful.
like that. And then we also do cupcake decorating parties for kids or adults or whatever, where we go through and take about an hour to teach people how to ice cupcakes. Super fun, and you get to eat them at the end too. So,
yep. So that's CuppieCakes, and then
here's the gas. I'm gonna let her talk about this one. This was her idea, and I didn't say no fast enough. So,
all right, she did say no, but I kept saying yes, and this was one of those things where she really, she put a lot of faith in me. I just hope I don't blow it.
She held my hand and she jumped over the cliff, and I screamed all the way down, and still do.
It's true.
Every now and then.
So there was this super old, neat downtown building for sale in McGregor, and it had this huge commercial kitchen in it. And it was for sale for a few years, and
they begged us to buy it then.
No, we're just not at that point. And what made us do?
I don't know. He asked you one more time, and you said yes, as usual.
I don't know. I don't even know really what happened, but
you see what I have to deal with, y'all? I know you feel it. I can feel.
Somehow.
She doesn't even know
Somehow
what
we
happened.
started talking about, hey, we should buy that building.
The whole reason was because our building is for sale.
It is for sale.
Our building that we're in, and we thought, okay, we've worked really hard to build up our clientele in McGregor, and then now we've gotten a lot of people from Gatesville, and so we've got that whole side of Waco.
There's Gatesville,
the
Crawford,
west side.
Moody, Rogers, good grief.
Yes.
People come from all over the place. So, hey, CuppieCakes, yeah, this is a great place.
Yeah, we didn't want to, if something happened and they happen to sell the building and they pull our lease, then what? What do we do?
What do we do?
So
we're not going to go to, build out this $50,000.
Right.
We didn't want to do that in the first place, so.
Didn't want to do it again, for sure.
We didn't want to do it again, and we love McGregor, and we wanted to stay there, and so it's like, well, this could be a great security purchase for us if we buy this building and move down there.
That's what I wanted to do.
That's what she wanted to do.
She said.
But, I mean, personally, and this is the truth, she doesn't want to believe it, but I really believe that the shop that we're in was a gift from God. And so she does believe that part.
I do believe that part.
But I don't feel like giving it back.
Yeah, we don't want to give it back yet. So what we use Sunnyside for? Well, it sat there empty for 6 months, and we're like, we really should.
We
use
bought it.
We really
okay,
should
that's
use
what
it.
happened. We bought this building,
and it sat there, and we thought, we could go bake cupcakes down there. But then we'd have to transport them back over here, and what a mess that would be.
Isn't it cute? That's the front.
That's the front.
Look.
Yep, it's cute. It's adorable.
Tell me that wasn't a good purchase.
We painted it. We put the floors down.
Look at that kitchen.
Anyway.
It was amazing.
That's what she does. She just distracts. That's what it is. Anywho, so we let it sit there for 6 months, and we just started thinking, what can we do?
And we were paying that mortgage.
Yeah, we were. It was awesome. I hated it. Okay. So I had heard about some pop-up restaurants in New York. And so one day we started talking about what if we opened it up as a pop-up restaurant venue in McGregor, because everybody wants to come to McGregor, right? But that, and we thought, we've been gifted so many things by people that we have as customers brought us stuff just for free to put in Sunnyside because they like us. And so people have bent over backwards for us, not just our family, but church people and anybody, really. And so we thought, what if we could give back to someone who wants to start a business but doesn't want to go into debt? We know what that feels like. And so there's so many people that may want to open like one of our guys that we had wanted to open a breakfast restaurant, but opening a kitchen would cost $20,000. And you have to get a loan and everything else. And cheap. So our whole goal was to give people something, give back to the community where they could test out a theory or a concept or open a restaurant one day a week and see if they liked it enough to go do it on their own. So that's kind of the concept is we rent it out, and we're kind of slow right now. We're not the great marketing people. We're awful, actually. But we've had 4 or 5 people that have come and cooked. So the whole concept is we rent it out, like let's say every Friday for a month. It's $125 every Friday, which is really pretty cheap. And they can come in and set up their own restaurant. They have a 12-hour block. They have to have their own menu. They have to have food handlers license and then
insurance.
Insurance, all this stuff. But they can actually run their restaurant. So right now we have Caribbean food, Caribe mix. She's been there for 3 months and she loves it. Her husband is exhausted, which is totally normal. But you know,
if we can help someone, we watched. We met a lady that I don't even know where, how, or why, but we met this lady, and she was about, I'm gonna say early 50s, and she was gonna open up a boutique in Waco, in Hughlett, and she had cute little clothes, inexpensive, blah blah blah. Great, go do your thing. And she said, we have spent our life savings to make this happen. Like, whoa, that's like leaping right there, that's a big one. And because at that point in life, you don't want to start over with savings and so forth. And so I still don't even know her name, but we watched this boutique open, and then we watched it close less than a year later. And I have no idea why it affected me the way it did, but I was like, maybe because I'm, starting to get a little bit older, 48 now, and I don't want to use my life savings on something that I can't get back. I get no return, and I thought, good grief, if we can help people
somebody avoid that,
because opening a restaurant is, $20,000, that's nothing. $20,000 is not, that's salt and pepper shakers. That's not going to open a business. And so if we can use this space that we have and help someone avoid, just one person avoid that pitfall of losing everything, whether it's because they're not good at it, or they find out they don't want to do it, or they have so many kinks that they need to work out before they really give it a shot, then it's worth it to me to not be using this building to make a fortune. We could do other things with it. There are plenty of options. We could move our business over to it and be perfectly fine. It's literally around the corner, like 4 doors around the corner. So it's not a big deal for us to move that, but just the opportunity that we felt like, because the idea came to us in about 3 minutes, and we had sat on it for 6 months and didn't know what to do with this building, really, what really to do with it to make it work. And we both kind of it gelled all at once in a very short time period once it happened. And so we just felt like that was going to be what we felt we could and should do with what we had been given. And so that's Sunnyside. So why did we do that other than the things? Well, take a little peek.
So we've had,
we don't keep these girlish figures by, not eating.
We do have,
So,
we have a full-time baker now,
let me just
by the
share
way.
a few things here.
We do have a full-time baker.
More?
And
Okay. There you go.
oh,
None-
let her
want
go.
another?
I'm just going to let her go.
There it goes. Oh, keep your eyes open. That is polenta.
Is there anything
oh my
else?
Gosh. Yep. Hold
Okay.
on.
She made the slideshow too.
Those are, did you see that? Let me back that up. Let me watch that again. Woo! Yes.
God.
Cinnamon rolls,
Help me,
for those
Jesus.
of you in the back.
I pray a lot, y'all.
Looky there. Oh
Man.
my goodness.
Okay, so.
Wait. There we go.
Are you
Okay.
done? We're done?
I'm done.
We're done. All
I'm
right, perfect. Good gracious. Okay, so we do have a full-time baker now. That's one thing we did get to do, which has let us go home at 5 o'clock now. So we do have a full-time baker, and she is
She
amazing.
works part-time, but.
She does work part-time, but she's full-time, seriously.
Just kidding.
But she actually opened Stella. Her name's Stella. She opened Stella, and her food, that steak at the top with the red lid, that's hers. That steak.
Have a pointer.
Oh, that's a salad, actually.
That?
But the steak on the very far end is the best steak I've ever had in my life.
That?
She was open for 2 months on Saturdays, and she
That pork
she's
chop. Holy
yeah, that
cow.
was so good. But
Yeah.
she's taking a break. We hope she comes back soon because her food is amazing. She just likes to cook. We've had Field of Reeds, and they do all the breakfasts and croissants, all organic food. And y'all, that French toast changed my whole life, really. The French toast with the strawberries, the best stuff
It
I've ever had
touched
in my
my
life.
soul.
It really did.
Like it jumped in.
But the funny thing about these people, and right now the empanadas in the front. That's our
Tacos del Gordo.
Yeah, we had
Y'all
Tacos del Gordo. Y'all know, have y'all heard of Tacos? He's around here somewhere. He does pop-up stuff all over. And then our Caribbean food lady, Caribe Mix, she does great empanadas. But Stella realized she never thought she could do it. That was one of her big deals. She doesn't really trust what she does. She's never been trained as a chef. She loves food. She loves to cook. And so we encouraged her over and over and over.
That she has one whole arm of vegetables
She does.
tattooed.
She does.
Like bell peppers
artichokes.
and artichokes on her thigh.
She's got it.
She likes food.
The girl
She's a
likes
foodie.
food. But she didn't believe that she could do it. And her husband, she's got 4 stepkids. God love her. She's wonderful. She's a great stepmom, but she's got to manage stepmomville and husband. And then she never thought she could do that. And we just encouraged her. Stella, you have to do it. She loves to cook, and she can cook vegan, and she worked in a raw vegan restaurant in San Antonio. The girl knows her food. And so she never thought she could, and she did, and she rocked it out. Like, she was awesome.
She did.
But we were hoping she comes back because, man,
It was
yuca
good
fry.
food.
She did yuca fry.
Those
Yuca fry
pictures?
Friday, so good.
Mm.
And
Last
then
night I was like,
yeah.
ooh.
Our Field of Reeds breakfast people, they did Sunday morning brunch, and y'all, they were probably our most popular, and he got tired. And this is what we want them to find out. Do you really want to do this? Do you need help? But he got tired, and he really refuses to cook
3
now
little
at
bitty
all.
kids,
So,
you know?
but these are things that we want people to know before they go spend a cajillion dollars to go open a restaurant. Do you really want to put forth the effort? Owning a business it's awful sometimes. I mean, you lose time with your kids, you lose time with your husband, and thank God we have supportive husbands that love us and want us to be happy because, it wouldn't work any other way. It really wouldn't. And our kids, really, mine got tired of cupcakes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Seriously, they won't even eat one right now. They won't. They're against it.
Mine won't either.
They won't.
Yeah.
But we want people to figure out if they even want to do it after 3 months. And that was just being open 1 day a week, and he doesn't even want to cook for his family anymore.
And we know it because it's like when we started, it was oh, we're gonna have a cupcake shop. How cute! That'd be so fun. I mean, who doesn't want to own a cupcake shop? It looks glorious. We even bought stuff for our cupcake shop that we didn't have. We were in her house.
Yep, they were in my closet in the garage.
We
for 2
saved
years.
these wall hangings for 2 years for our ideal little pie in the sky cupcake shop. I can tell you it is still pie in the sky for me. I love it.
I do too.
But it's hard. It's hard work. And so if Sunnyside can help someone see that reality of, I do love this, but I don't love it that much.
Mm-hmm.
Or I love this more than I ever thought I would, and I want to do more.
Which that's what our lady that does the Caribbean food, we found her story. She survived cancer. And she's, I think, twice actually. And she's always wanted to own her own business. She's not from here, but that's what she wanted to do. It's her dream. And her husband, he's so sweet. He's like, it's what she wants to do. And so he just follows along, and they took a leap of faith to open it, and she doesn't want to stop. And he's like, please let us stop. He's just tired. He's like, it's just so much, but she wants to keep doing it. So that's her dream, and that's what she wants to do. And she's so happy serving people. That's what she wants to do. So
we talked a full hour. I'm so sorry. We knew this was going to happen. But we do want to give you guys the opportunity, if you have any questions. One thing that you will find out about us, we really don't have any secrets other than our lemon cake recipe and maybe the strawberry.
Yeah, we aren't giving those out.
No, we have a few other recipe secrets like that. But as far as who we are, what we are, how we got here, we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have, if you have any at all. Yes, sir.
Thanks, pal. Appreciate you.
Does that mean we don't get a question?
No questions. Where did the name come from? She's the fun one.
The name CuppieCakes. It just came out of my mouth. I don't know.
So and this is a funny joke between us, but we have different names for our cupcakes, like Slap Your Mama. She came up with that one. And then
it's so good. You want to slap your mama.
Black Magic.
It's a banana split.
I mean, it is a banana split, but I name things like lemon, like the lemon cupcake.
Our lemon cupcake.
That's me.
Named Lemon.
I'm the boring one.
She also named Red Velvet.
And Italian cream. So don't try to steal it. I'm just saying.
Red Velvet.
Yep. That's it. I'm real boring. She's the fun one. She comes up with all the cute little names. So I just named mine Lemon. That's it. That's all I got.
But it got to the point, like everybody knows what it is, right? I mean, it's lemon.
Yeah.
So there's really
I'm going to come up with
that.
something good. I'm going to come up with one soon.
Yep.
I don't know what it's going to be, but anyway.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. How many colors
4.
does this shirt come in? 4. Orange, black, purple, and blue.
If they were sleeping, they're not now.
There we go. Wake up. Someone, yes, sir.
Would you say your business works because you guys compliment each other?
Oh, man. I think
She doesn't ever compliment me.
too.
Ever. You know what she told me right before you guys?
Don't say it.
She said, you have
some nice highlights in your hair.
You have some nice gray highlights. Right before.
We're honest,
I'm
y'all. We are
here.
so honest and transparent with each
You
other.
have nice gray highlights today.
Anyway.
Thank you. So, no compliments whatsoever.
We really do. When I met Branda, I really didn't have many friends. We had just moved here to Waco, and so she calls me standoffish. I didn't really talk much.
Oh my gosh.
I really wasn't rude. I just
was
didn't
so
talk.
rude.
I just kind of, would go disappear somewhere, but she's like a fungus, kind of attaches to you and grows. It's really true. Anyway, so
I don't even know how to think. I took you in.
There you go.
you had no friends.
That's right. It's true. But we do. Everybody asks if we're sisters. We're not.
I say yes. You know what she says?
No.
No.
That's a whole lot of liability. You start putting blood and stuff. But people think we're sisters, and we are extremely close. We're best friends. Our kids, we were real scared when we first started hanging out. I was like, oh my God, what if our kids don't like each other? What are we going to do? Because we're going to hang out anyway, and they're going to have to like each other. So thankfully they did.
They love each other.
They do love each other, like sisters and brothers too. But
so yes,
we
it
really
matters
do.
A lot.
It does matter. Especially
it matters probably as much as anything else.
And both my husband says it all the time. He's like, are you talking to Branda on the phone? I'm like, yes. You just left the shop after 14 hours, and you still have something to say.
We had stuff to say.
We have stuff to say all the time. So we really do share a brain. People probably get real sick of us. I'm sure of it. I'm really sure of it. But it does, especially when you're going to go into a partnership with somebody, and it's nothing that we ever planned. Like, we never planned really. I mean,
no.
Not
I was a high school counselor, happily. Yeah. Like I was.
Oh, and I
really
love to coach.
Happy.
I'm the most competitive human being you'll ever meet.
Yep.
People always ask if we should go to Cupcake Wars. I'm like, no. We would get friend divorce in a second because she doesn't care if she wins, and I have to win things. Like, no, it'd be bad. So, It's good. We still like each other after.
That would kill us.
Yeah, it would. That'd be it.
Do not put us on Cupcake Wars.
So.
We wouldn't be friends.
Mm-mm.
So.
I can feel it now. A little rage is building up.
I'm a little angry.
I got it.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yes.
How long was it before, like, between when you guys came up with the idea of having a shop and actually getting one?
Oh man.
Well, the tax ID number thing, remember on the cap, that was still a really bad move, but it wasn't detrimental, it was just dumb. But that was
well, we baked out of my house for 3 years.
Maybe a year after we started working on cakes and cupcakes. Mm-hmm. And so there was another 3 years at least between that and actually having a brick and mortar front door to walk through. So it was a long time, relatively speaking, for that type of deal.
Yeah, we went and talked to Jane Herndon. I don't know if y'all know Jane Herndon.
Open a business.
Do y'all know Jane Herndon? Raise your hand if you know her, because if you don't, you should. Jane is, she works
at the
for
Small Business Development Center
at MCC. It's a free service to anybody who wants to do a business. But we actually talked to her, and she said, well, have you thought about this? This is one of the smartest people in the whole wide world, y'all. I'm telling you.
She won't give you one answer.
No, but still today, she gives you things to think about. Well, have you thought about doing it this way? When we were trying to figure out if we could quit our jobs and open the shop, have you thought about renting out a commissary kitchen?
I think in the back of her mind, she was probably like, "Oh my God, you're going to quit your job," but she never would say that ever. And
but she's one of those people still to this day. We love Jane. She's one of our wealthiest resource people in the whole wide world. But she, to this day, she loves the concept of Sunnyside. She thinks it's awesome. But she keeps connecting us over and over and over and over with people who are like-minded like we are, that we could have mutual interest in the same thing. And so she's given us leads upon leads about, this thing and cupcakes and who can do what. And so if you don't know her, you should. Since y'all are business people, you want to open a business, because she's
amazing.
A
wealth of resources. So she was really good. Very frustrating for us because we just wanted an answer, like,
tell us what
how
to
do we pay our sales taxes? I collected them, but I don't know what to do with them, and instead of saying, well, you blah, 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 she said, well, here's a link you can read about. Oh, I got to go find the answer myself? Are you kidding me? But anyway, that's the best way to learn. I'm sure you know that. Mm-hmm. So anyone else? Yes, sir.
Where do you see yourselves in 5 years? Man, you ask her one thing, she's going to give you a different answer than I will. You know that. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, Branda?
I have no idea. I don't know. I love what I do, and I think it's really important in life, whatever you're doing, whatever it may be, to love it. Life is way too short to work to pay the bills, work to, live to work. That's not very fun. I work because I need to pay the bills, not because, how does that work? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. I love what I do. Our business is still growing, and we have irons in the fire.
We do. And,
there's more potential for growth. There's more potential for Sunnyside to grow. And it's fun. I realized that I have career ADD. So I go along and all is well, and I'm having fun, and I'm enjoying it, and feel somewhat successful. And hey, why don't you go back to school and get your master's? Oh, that would be awesome. Let's go do that. So off my mind goes, and I go back to school, and I'm a school counselor, and I love it. It's great. So I guess maybe, whenever it gets boring, she gets boring sometimes, but work is still pretty good. So
there you go. That was rude.
I think in 5 years, I can't say really where, honestly, God is so big in all of this, and so I don't know where we should be or where we need to be or where we will be, but I hope that it's where He wants us.
Yeah. The cool thing about Branda, and y'all know I'm the reserved one at this point, apparently. But she said something to me that makes me go do things that I'm not comfortable with doing, and that is really, it's good because I wouldn't ever do it if I didn't have someone making me do it or encouraging me to do it. So she's like, I don't ever want to have regrets. Oh, what if we didn't do this, or what if we didn't do that? And so that's kind of where I have to get my sanity from sometimes. Like, oh, but what, I'm the what if it doesn't work? But she's like, but what if it does? Okay, so that's where I have to get I get courage from her to go do these things. And if she wasn't, then we wouldn't do that. So, and she says the same thing about me.
It's true.
So, I don't want to have any regrets, but in 5 years, who knows? Who knows? We go day by day.
I will assure you, we will not be on Cupcake Wars.
No, we will not.
We will not.
So, yeah.
I hope it's still growing. I hope we have maybe another. I'm not going to say anything. She'll get so mad at me.
I will. I don't even know what she's about to say. I'm getting nervous.
Any ideas out there? She just gets, so we can't do that. How are we going to pay for that?
So mean. Anyway, any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank y'all very much. Thank you.